We are not just talking about deities, we're talking about temple chariots, temple pillars, hero stones, Jain Tirthankaras, Buddhist sculptures. So a lot of stuff, anything old is being priced today out of India. Heritage, illicit antiquities is a big global business. So what we need people is to realize that this is a global market that runs into millions of dollars. This is something that can only be stopped by doing three things. One is documenting our heritage, reporting thefts, and aggressively going after the market. We've been looted not just by the British, we've been looted by the Dutch, the Danes, the Portuguese, we've been looted by the French. So we're talking about colonial loot, we're talking about post-colonial, after independence, what has left the India shores, and currently what is still being looted. Interior designers and homeowners should stop viewing sacred art as showpiece curios. In 1961 and 1962, two thefts happened in Nalanda. 14 bronzes were stolen, and one of them we knew was with the Lakma. A lot of people are scared to report thefts because of what happens after that. So on Twitter, I go by the handle Poetry in Stone. It's Vijay at Poetry in Stone or Vijay at IPP. Both of them are there. And confidentially we work people who are scared to openly talk. We keep their identities anonymously. They can report, and we will go out bring it up.
Namaste all. We are at the Lit Tales today here in Coimbatore. There is a cultural and literature festival especially for kids, and I happen to meet Mr. Vijay Kumar. He is the author of The Idol Thief. So let us find out from him what this is all about, and he also has a request to make. So let us also find out what it is. Namaste Ji, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I know you just finished your session. It's a pleasure hosting you, and whatever you've been doing, it's a very good project. I mean, nobody usually gets into this because there's so much dirt in there, but then you are doing it, and you and your team.
I think it's high time India reverses the plunder of its cultural heritage.
Right.
And the reason why we're doing it is because we believe that the gods want to come back home, and they've chosen us as their vehicle. That's it.
Okay.
So quite a lot of occasions we have been fed information out of very random sources, and they just add up together. Circumstances have come together which have created this. I would still say we're just scraping the surface, but literally the gods decided to come back, and they provided us the means, tools, methods, and the support. So for us, the biggest problem, I would say, since you are also from Karnataka, the biggest issue is if you compare, a lot of people think idol smuggling. I'm calling it idol because that's how internationally this market illicit.
Technically, they are murtis. They are ordained.
We're not just talking about deities, we're talking about temple chariots, temple pillars, hero stones, Jain Tirthankaras, Buddhist sculptures. So a lot of stuff, anything old is being priced today out of India. Heritage, illicit antiquities is a big global business. And the world over, there is renewed attention in host nations. Source nations is how the West looks at us. Are bringing up the call for the right thing to be done. That means history should return to its geography. So globally, you've got Greece asking for the Parthenon marbles, for example, Benin asking for the Benin bronzes to come back. But India has always been very soft. We've been looted not just by the British, we've been looted by the Dutch, the Danes, the Portuguese, we've been looted by the French. So we're talking about colonial loot, we're talking about post-colonial, after independence, what has left the India shores, and currently what is still being looted. And a lot of people think this is something that is unique to Tamil Nadu. Unfortunately, Tamil Nadu is in the news because it's been very well documented sites, and because of that, our success rates are much higher when we talk about recovering Tamil Nadu's murtis. But the same thing can be done in other states, and in fact, Karnataka has lost a lot more than Tamil Nadu. If you really look at how much of Hoysala art and Chalukya art that is out in open auctions. Unfortunately, on the ground, despite repeated assurances like Tamil Nadu has a dedicated idol wing, Karnataka was supposed to start something 3 years ago, they were supposed to start something 2 years ago, they started something a year ago, but we don't know what's happened. We have worked with a lot of people there, dedicated people who have been calling for a dedicated force. We have tracked museum objects missing, from Karnataka, we've had, not, when I say Karnataka, we're talking about Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, a lot of sites have been plundered. So, what we need people is to realize that this is a global market that runs into millions of dollars.
Right.
And this is something that can only be stopped by doing three things.
Okay.
One is documenting our heritage,
Right.
reporting thefts, and aggressively going after the market. This is like wildlife trafficking. When the buying stops, the killing stops.
Right.
So, internationally, for example, in this illicit antiquities in 1970, the UN came up with a the UN resolution of 1970 prohibiting the illicit sale of antiquities. So that means the tap has been closed in 1970, but water is still flowing the other side. Our antiquities, this beautiful Hoysala bronzes, Chalukya sculptures, beautiful stone objects that can only be from Karnataka that are coming up for sale.
Right. See, what I think is we cannot stop the buying. I mean, if there is a demand for that in international market, there is very little that we can do. But what we can do is we can stop the leakage. And for that, you said we'll have to document it. Now that most of the temples, you cannot record what is there inside, because record as in you can write it down, but then you cannot photograph, you cannot picturize. Don't you think that is another way to stop you from documenting what is inside the ancient temples?
Well, you take Tamil Nadu for example, we've had about 68 cases in the last decade. About 67 were cracked because of the French University Pondicherry's archives, where they documented the Trimenis, the bronzes, and based on that evidence, we could state these claims. So, one thing is to say that if you take photo, the power of the god will go. I don't think our gods are that weak. And when the agamas were there, cameras were not there. So I feel that okay, if everybody takes photos of the Garbhagriha, then it may not be right. But at least the temples and that was in fact what Tamil Nadu's recommendation was. The temple should photograph. They should keep one copy with them and one copy in the nearby police station and one copy with the ASI.
Should not that be made public? Just for people to know. What if all of them together manipulate? For example, you spoke about Tamil Nadu. Now the Tamil Nadu Dharmadatti, like the Mujarai minister, he himself was there in a conference where they said we need to eliminate Sanatana Dharma from India.
Well, for me, I would like to keep away from politics because officers go, ministers come, ministers go. Right. But for hundreds of years, our murtis were safe. Right. Till the dollar-driven greed has come and there is a sinister effort to eradicate. So, it doesn't mean that Tamil Nadu alone is losing. We are losing from all over India. So, I think we have porous borders. And what our recommendation, in fact, we have worked with the Economic Advisory Council, with the JPC, Joint Parliamentary Committee. We need to set up a central squad. We need to go after the network. We should not be happy in getting back a few deities which are just photo ops. Right. We should dismantle the network. Okay. Getting back a few deities is just low-hanging fruit. And which is important because for a long time, our ministers in parliament of both sides of the well were always saying that we have lost only 5-10. Which is not now we have proven that thousands have been lost because of thousands are coming back. Right. And historically, if you look at statistics, hardly 3 to 4% crimes are solved. So that means you can extrapolate the number of theft. If 2,000 have come back, 20,000 were sold by just that one dealer. Right. So you are imagining a global network, how many it is. And this same network feeds. So the guys who are doing this are not doing it for good purposes. They are earning millions and money is coming back to India via Hawala. We are coming back into other networks and these networks, what they'll do. Right. So I think the US and EU have looked at it. They've realized that the illicit antiquities trafficking market is closely connected with money laundering. It's closely connected with terrorism financing. Right. Whereas India still looks at it as a fringe problem. Right. I think what we need to do is not look at it as an election-centric effort. What we need to look at it is to say that these are our ancestral treasures. Our sacred duty is to protect them and pass on to the next generation. Right. We are not owners of this. Right. We are only temporary custodians. Right. And as a custodian, if you fail to do your duty, Next time you want to see a nice Rama Murthy, we'll have to go to the Metropolitan Museum. You want to see a nice Krishna Murthy, they'll say you go to. And that is a crime because who created these never created them to be objects of art.
Right.
That you look at them as art is incidental. They were created as objects of worship,
Yeah, they need to
to be
worshipped.
housed in the sanctum,
Correct.
to be prayed to.
Correct.
That you are now looking at it as art is incidental. And I think that is what we have to encourage people who are buying also to note, buy new art. And even our own people are using like temple vahanas, temple chariot as decorative objects in the house. You don't have a Garudan sitting there in your front lawn. It's not meant for that purpose. It is meant to carry the Tiruvadi of Vishnu. But what is the point of having it? So I think interior designers and homeowners should stop viewing sacred art as showpiece curios.
So how many years have you been into this?
We've been doing it for almost 2 decades now.
Oh, 20. Oh, that's a long time then. So you should have had many success stories. Can you share one or two, the recent ones at least, or the most important one that you thought?
I would say three more important ones. One was our first success, which was the Ardhanari that was stolen from Vrudachalam, which was very close to my home village. I had actually studied the Ardhanari form because in Cholo art and all over pan-Indian art.
Ardhanari is the Ardhanarishwara, the Shiva. Right.
So the androgynous form of Shiva and Parvati is very difficult as an iconographical composition because the iconography of a man is different, of a woman is different in Shilpa Shastra. To merge the two creates a deliberate slant in the body, and the artist actually brings in Nandin on the side so that the slant is offset in the sculpture. Otherwise it will look very odd slanting to that structure. So I had studied it and I had blogged about it in 2008. I had used some examples and I had used the Vrudachalam without knowing that it was already stolen in 2004. So imagine I was so dumb that I did not know, and it was already sitting in a museum in Australia. And one of my friends, friend collaborator Jason Felch, who has studied Italian antiquities trafficking. He is a Pulitzer shortlisted author of a book called Chasing Aphrodite. So he published photos that Subhash Kapoor had sold this Ardhanarishwara to the art gallery at New South Wales. One look at it, I said, I know this, and this is from my village. So I go on Facebook, I asked my friends, and immediately somebody went to the temple. We were expecting an empty niche, but there was a fake there.
Oh, okay. They replaced it with the fake one.
Replaced with the fake, and the fake was so badly made that the moment I knew it, and people have been praying it for almost now 10 years. And that was where we managed to give the proof. And the joke was, in the same museum that had bought it, they had a book, Early Chola Sculptures, which had a photograph of this bronze. So the due diligence, if they'd even checked their library, they would have known that they have bought a stolen object. So that was one. The second one is what I had discussed, was the Nalanda Buddha, because it was a crime that had been the toughest to solve because it was pending from 1961. In 1961 and 1962, two thefts happened in Nalanda. 14 bronzes were stolen, and one of them we knew was with the LACMA, the Los Angeles Museum. Nalanda's museum.
Museum, okay.
The Nalanda Site Museum, and we knew one was in the LACMA. We could not provide the proof. So our good friend, when I was in Singapore, I used to work closely with Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, who was earlier the economic advisor to Prime Minister and now the senior member of the EAC. So he was meeting a retired ASC officer, and he said, look, there was this theft that happened, and this person had the old paperwork. And Sanjeev said, can Vijay solve this there? And we managed to get the paperwork. I was basically building it for the LACMA case so that India can lodge a claim, and we managed to trace the original photos. Luck could have it, one of our friends was visiting TEFAF, which was an art fair in Maastricht, and they found another Buddha that was kept hidden for almost 47 years. And so we've now cracked 2 of the cases of the 14. So we are still searching for 12 more. So this was quite tough because this was a very short window for us to catch this, otherwise it will go missing again. The last one was again a very interesting one. I was in Delhi for a UN UNESCO meeting, and it was just a one-day meet, fly in the morning, fly out in the evening, and really tired, tea break, talking to an archaeologist from ASI, Calcutta, and he said, Sir, my PhD PhD thesis had a sculpture which has gone missing, and we are like, okay, let me know where it is. And this was, we're just talking, and we managed to track that old PhD thesis. And in that thesis, there was this photo that they have taken. So he was focusing on not this stolen murti, but on the side, half of that image was there.
Okay.
And with that, we managed to track it to a dealer in America. And within a week, we managed to secure that object. But there were three that were stolen. So I was in Calcutta. We searched for that temple. So we went there looking, expecting ruins, but it was recently done up. And there was, when we were going in, it was very far off. It's about a 4-hour drive from Calcutta. We are searching GPS, and we go, and then we hear bells tolling. And like, who's there? And there is this priest who's praying. He's bought one banana, one orange, and he's offering prayers. Nobody there inside, not a soul inside. And this priest is praying in this temple from where this Kubera statue was stolen. And we go inside and see, and he has this photograph of these three murtis that have been stolen. And he's still praying to them. And that's when we realize the importance of what we are doing. And that was for us payday. We do this pro bono. We don't do this for awards or rewards.
Right.
This was award for us. The faith of that person, because this was stolen almost 30 years ago.
Right.
And they have been genuinely waiting for their murtis to come back.
I know how nicely you would have felt about it. Very nice. So now, in case if I come across a story like this, now I know there's a temple which is an ancient temple in my village, and I know for the fact there is this deity which is stolen. What can I do? How do I? Do you also encourage such inputs? Do you take it?
So we work with local information. See, a lot of people are scared to report thefts because of what happens after that. So on Twitter, I go by the handle Poetry in Stone. It's Vijay at Poetry in Stone or Vijay at IPP. Both of them are there. And confidentially, we work people who are scared to openly talk. We keep their identities anonymously. They can report, and we will go out bring it up. In fact, we are currently working on one such case of a Jesuit priest who actually robbed a lot of temples in Karnataka. And they are currently in the Royal Museum in Denmark. And he has written that he bought it from the locals. But when we looked at it, he had given them a pair of spectacles, like gift trinklets. White guy, basically gullible locals, give them one spectacle and take away murtis, despite him not having permission to remove. 80 sculptures, Hoysala sculptures, were robbed by Loventhal, this Jesuit priest, during the colonial period. And they are currently in the Royal Museum in Denmark. We're also working on a few cases in the US Museum, where the museum has established a study where they have found that they have a Brahma statue. The Swan Vahana is still in the temple in India, in Karnataka. Right. So they have matched the pedestal, and they published this research thesis on their portal. So all we need to do is take their own proof and ask that Brahma to come back.
Very nice.
So yes, people can report to us on any cases. But again, if they are traveling outside of India, if they see a murti for sale, we ask them not to put themselves at risk. If they're allowed to photograph, let them take permission, take a photograph, and they can send it to us. Right. If not, just let us know which shop is selling. We have our networks with law enforcement to get back. So the request is, there's a lot more we can get back for Karnataka. In fact, Subhash Kapoor himself has about 30 odd Karnataka size sculptures. His supplier's warehouse was raided in Chennai, Deenadayalan Island, where at least another 60 Karnataka sculptures were seized by Tamil Nadu. But the Karnataka side has not even asked for them. So we have provided all this information multiple times to law enforcement and to the custodians in Karnataka. So they are all sitting in a godown here. So we hope that Karnataka aggressively pursues to get back.
I know you don't want to get into politics, but then from last 10 years, do you think of course the idols are coming back. What do you think about it?
I would say that we are still scratching the surface. Nepal has got back almost 4,000. Cambodia has got back more than us in the same period. So if we had more support, we could have gotten back more. And on the ground, our laws are weak. We don't even have a separate section for heritage crimes. We are currently trying heritage crimes under Section 380 IPC, which is housebreaking theft, which carries as a maximum sentence of 7 years and minimum sentence of 3 months. In Tamil Nadu, there is a stupid state amendment in 1992 where apparently in good intention they wanted to come up with a minimum penalty of 3 years for temple theft, but they left out the word minimum. So in Tamil Nadu, if you rob a house, it's 7 years. If you rob a temple, it's 3 years. And that amendment still stands. A lot of such cases are there wherein we need to create a strong national art squad. We need to have better border control. We need to train our border control. We need to go after erring officers. We need to go after people who have colluded, who are part of this ecosystem that is systematically robbing our gods. We need to work with international law enforcement, check these transit points in Hong Kong, check these transit points in Bangkok, transit points in Nepal, in London, which are aiding this. The US is actually doing a lot of work. Italy is doing a lot of work. They are willing to impart training free to any government funded entity. We can't do it as.
So all government has to do is just set up an entity who can go get trained and then come back, do their work. Right. So now that you've been in this for 20 years, 2 decades, what is the worth of the antiques that is, I mean, worth as in how much antiques you think are there outside India?
As I said, for me, our gods are priceless, so I don't want to put a price tag. So far, we have recovered for India close to $248 million worth of antiquities in the international market. The most expensive one, which is going to come back, was in the market in 2006 for $15 million, a single deity. So it is basically sad to see our murtis being praised international market. Ideally, it should not happen. Ideally, our artists and artisans must be encouraged to make new showpieces which can be exported. Unfortunately, they are also colluding at times with the system to create fakes. They show the fake, get the export license, and they export. So we've set up a lot of recommendations to the PMO, submitted via white paper by the EAC and the JPC. So the EAC has submitted to Parliament. The Parliament has set up a joint parliamentary committee.
So it's working. I mean, something's happening.
The reports have been tabled. So it's hopeful. I'm hopeful that results would come. But if you really ask me, more could have been done if people really had put the effort. We could have crossed this number at least 5 years ago.
So if you have to give a number, as in these many murtis or idols are there outside?
My estimate is we are losing about 1,000 big ticket items every 10,000 big ticket items every decade. When I say big ticket, above 5,000.
Even now?
Yeah.
Even now you say the idols are being stolen?
Yeah, because we do work with law enforcement, border control in the US. We see seizures happening.
How many idols do you think is stolen in the last 10 years?
10,000.
My God, the ancient ones. Nobody talks about this, you see?
Well, the Tamil Nadu HRNC has submitted an affidavit in the High Court of Tamil Nadu 3 years ago, where they claim they've lost about 1,480 odd stone and bronze sculptures in the 12-year period. And this is what they've reported.
The numbers are not right.
Even that, there is no list. Till date, we have not been asked to even find one.
If you RTI them, what happens?
Good luck.
Right. I don't know, this is not very happy thing to hear. But anyway, I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your time again. Namaste to you.